Let's start now. Today we are going to talk about idol worship. Okay, that's gonna be a very interesting topic. The question is, what do you worship? Okay, the meaning of the word worship is like adore. What do you adore? So, let's go to the first image. In times, people used to have different figures that any people adored. For example, the Greek people used to adore some people, some gods, some goddess like Zeus, like Aphrodite, any other? Do you remember the name of any other god or semi-god or goddess, Greek goddess?
Greek, specific Greek.
Yes, let's talk first of all about Greek.
Oh,
Yeah, do you remember about anything like this?
Semigod, Hercules.
Aha, that's it, like Hercules. Any other?
Ares.
Beg your pardon? Hello?
Can be a Buddha.
Yes, well, that was not Greek, but anyway, it's a god. It's what is the origin of Buddha?
Indian?
Yes, is he Hindu or Chinese?
Chinese? No.
Hindu.
Hindu.
No?
I'm not pretty sure, but don't worry, it's okay. Well, you know what? What I would like you to talk about today is that, well, yes, people has always have the necessity of asking anybody else for protection. So that's why people all around the world has created different religions, different worshiping. For example, here we can see some of the images about the faun. He's a Greek personage about the Greek mythology. And well, in some other countries, mythology, worshipping has been present. For example, here we have in Egypt, we had also some goddess and gods like Semiramis, like Isis, any other?
Ra.
Ra, that's it, very good. And well, as far as I am concerned, I'm not pretty sure, but please help me to talk about this, that they worshipped some animals, for example, cats. Egyptian people thought that cats were something like sacred animals because they would conduct dead people whenever they had to pass from this world to the other dimension, to the other world. Do you know anything about this? Why cats were sacred for the Egyptian people?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
No? What do you think about this, Blanca?
It's a little curious because all the, for example, in Mexico, the Mayas have a jaguar or puma.
A jaguar, yes.
So it's interesting because the cat is an Egyptian, is as an animal for them. In Mexico, jaguar for Mayas.
Yeah, that's it.
Interesting. Always have an animal.
Yeah, some coincidences.
Yes.
Hey, yes, that's it. Thank you very much, Teresita. Okay, Teresita, who do you want to listen to? Who's your victim?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh,
I can
yes,
hear
of
you.
course. Who is your victim? Who do you want to listen to? To Pedro, to Blanca?
Uh, I don't know to refer the person Pedro Blanca. I don't know.
Who's next?
According to in the sequence in the list that we are in this class.
Could be, or the person that you would like to listen to, your victim.
My victim. Okay. Pedro.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Pedro, hello.
Okay. Well, I have heard about in some cultures that when some someone died, if this person have a can, they can help him to through the river to the other side.
Aha.
And if for that reason, we need to have a can,
A dog.
a dog, and we need to be good with the dog.
Aha, that's it.
I don't know.
Hey, yes,
I
it's
don't know
kind of,
in what culture.
yeah, you know what? I remember a little about that. I think that it was the Aztec culture because they worshipped the Xoloitzcuintli because they said that, yeah, it was the impersonation of the Lord Xolotl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, that's very interesting. Well, something similar to the Xoloitzcuintli was in Egypt, and they worshipped cats because of that same reason.
Okay.
All right. So, Pedro, please tell me, who's your victim?
Maybe Blanca.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay. In Mexico, I think pre-Hispanic imagines, for example, Quetzalcoatl can be.
Yes, that's it.
Another, I don't know.
Well,
other,
yes.
this is different. For example, in the biblic, now in the present, the people, I think, idol, for example, Santa Muerte. This is the name.
The saint
Yes.
death.
Okay. This in Mexico, many people this idol this imagines this.
Yes, they worship.
Say worship. Okay.
Okay, yes, they worship some images and some, well, kind of like personalities.
But for example, in the present, in Mexico, in others country, I don't know this what is that worship.
Well, yes, thank you very much. That was a very good example. And look at this. Here we go to the next image. Here we are. Look at this. Nowadays, people in the present used to worship some animals. For example, as far as we can see in India, people worship rats.
Yes.
And so even in India, there's a temple where people worship rats. They give milk, they feed the rats with milk. All right.
For me, it's new this picture because I never imagined that the person worship the rats, but it's very strange, rare.
Yeah, that's it. This is something, well, different. Did anybody of you know anything about this worshiping?
No.
No,
Mm-mm.
maybe
No.
call monkeys, or for example in China, another, well, in China is not worship, I think nobody, because all of the things that have movement, they eat it.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So look at this. I want you to do me a favor. So we are going to write in the chat what do we think about the worshiping, the animal worshiping in some other countries. All right. I would like you to do this in the chat so that we can have a little feedback about writing. All right. So you write and I correct some of the important mistakes that I can see, all right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
In the sheet, in the chat.
In the chat, yes, I am going
Okay.
to write an example. In my opinion, animal worshiping is strange, but I know that in Mexico, some animals are worshipped. Like mules in John Nint, Corpus Christi. Okay, this is my example. So could you help me writing something like that?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, pretty good. Pedro wrote, in India, people worship cows. Hey, that's pretty good. Pedro, I'm going to write some feedback for you. In India, here in the country India doesn't have PH in its name. So it is not necessary to write in the India. India or worship cats. No, cows, I mean.
Oh, yes.
Cows. All right, pretty good. You know what? We are not going to use the people because we are talking about all the people in general. We use the THE when we talk about specific things. For example, if I say in India, the people who worship cows a lot. There we are talking about a specific group, that is the people who worship cows. Okay, not everything. Yes?
Thank you, teacher. Yes.
All right, my pleasure. So let's go with Teresita. In my opinion, animal worshiping is rare, but in some cultures are very different to Mexico. Here, Teresita, it is okay, but I couldn't understand very well. Here, I think the correct way could be, in my opinion, animal worshiping is rare, but in some cultures, it is very different to the one in Mexico. I am going to write the feedback, but in some cultures, it is different to what we do in Mexico. All right. Okay, Pedro. In other country, there is a temple in which they worship monkeys. Okay, feedback in other countries. There is a temple where they worship monkeys. All right, here you are, Pedro. This is for you.
Yes, thank you, teacher.
All right, thanks to you. Okay, Teresita, I'm going to try to speak. So Blanca wrote, in my opinion, in Mexico, there aren't animals worshipped. Okay, so, all right, very good. There aren't worshipped animals. Okay, so we are going to invert the order, all right?
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Thank you, thanks to you. All right, what about the others? Oliver, welcome, how are you? Heriberto, welcome. Sergio, what about your opinion?
I'm not sure, but I think people believe in reincarnation.
Aha, that's it. Okay, let's try to write it so that I can give you feedback, okay? We are going to check a little of writing. It is going to be useful for you. All right. Ready?
You ask for another person or for the same person?
No, for another person, because you know what? I have already seen the comments of some of you, but we are missing some more. For example, Gerardo. All right, you know what? I would like to talk to you about something. Okay, Oliver, pretty good. Oliver wrote, in my opinion, Mexico is very rich about culture, traditions, and religions. But actually, the animals are in risk of extinction, and people are carefully with this subject, okay? All right, Oliver, I am going to write some corrections, some feedback, okay?
Thanks.
My opinion, comma, Mexico is very rich in traditions and religions and culture. But actually, animals, some animals are in risk of extinction. And people should be careful about this subject. Well, I don't think it is a subject, but it's an issue. All right. So I would like you to do me a favor. I'm writing some corrections for your writing, for what you wrote, but I would like you to tell me if you understand why were they correct.
Okay.
Why were the corrections? I mean,
and my correction about my text is issue, not subject, because I need to specific about the, I don't know, the context, el contexto de que mi objetivo es ser más académico para el tema y no un tema general. That's correct?
Well, yes, but no, you know what I am talking about here with issue is that subject could be, for example, like mathematics, like science.
Okay.
And issue is a problem that we are facing.
Social problem?
Be a social problem, or any problem could be an issue, like a situation to solve.
This case is in risk of extinction.
In risk or in danger, it could also work in danger of extinction.
Thank you, teacher.
Thanks to you. All right, anybody else? All right, so you know what? Let's go to the next image. Here we go. Well, it is well known that we all need the necessity to feel the protection for any almighty, all-powerful being. And some people used to beg for that protection, for those favors. Of course, there are some others who are very exaggerated. That's not the point. Look at this. Let's go to this. New and modern idolatry, worshipping. Nowadays, people worship themselves. People worship money.
Yeah.
Material things. celebrities or sports. Here you are, sports.
Celebrity.
And there's a new idolatry.
Yes, actually.
So you know what? I think that, of course, we all are free. We all are, well, it is necessary that we respect each other, of course, all of us. But what is the point at where we are at? I think that this kind of idolatry of worshiping is not only changing the social sharing and the way we communicate each other, for example, in this case, please tell me, what's your opinion about the new way that people have communication? For example, the social nets. Please, Pedro, what's your opinion?
Well, I work in e-learning in several universities. So for the education, the technology is very useful, and it make the education easy for more people that if they don't have the possibility of the e-learning, they can't student the university or the preparatory or even another levels of education. So for me, it's very good the technology of the TICs for me in an educational environmental, but in personal communication with the people that we want or work, for example, with friends or with the family. In some case, the communication change very cold. I don't know.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hey, Pedro, that was a very interesting position because you said, well, you talked to us as an e-learning educator. And of course, it is really amazing because, for example, now,
Yes.
where are you, Pedro? Are you in Mexico City?
No, I am in Pachuca.
Yes, you are in Pachuca. Sergio, where are you?
I'm from Aguascalientes.
Wow, you are in Aguascalientes. And so, Blanca, where are you?
I'm from Cuautla, Morelos.
Great. Hey, that's beautiful. And what about you, Teresita? Where are you?
I'm from Los Mochis, Sinaloa.
Good. Hey, that's beautiful. Oliver, where are you?
Los Mochis, Sinaloa too.
Look at this. That's beautiful. And well, as far as we can see, as Pedro said, it wouldn't be possible for us to be talking today if it weren't because of the of technology. Of course, technology is great. But as Pedro mentioned also, well, it has some problems whenever we want to use it for communication, for interpersonal communication. All right, so what's your opinion about this, Teresita?
About the same topic or the same for Pedro?
Yes, about this
Communication.
Yes.
Well, nowadays it's very difficult between us have a communication because the technology or specific the social net, is it correct?
Yeah, the social nets.
Okay, is for the maybe teenagers or the young people, and it's a problem because I see my students maybe together, but at the same time, just looking their cell phone and smile to the screen, smiling to the screen, and they never talk with them. When I go to my friends, I try to don't use my cell phone and maybe enjoy the company, but I look around me, the person, the family, maybe they enjoy the meeting or the meal watching the cell phone. So it's difficult nowadays, the communication. I have an example. A few days, maybe on the last Saturday, I need to go to the bank, and in the line there are behind of me there are a young lady. In front of me there is a teacher too, and musician. I talked with him about it, and he told me that he preferred talk with the person, but maybe his age is 50 or 55 years old, so it's very different with the person behind on me, maybe 25, 22 years old. The communication is different. So it's we need to, I know that we need the technology to communicate. For me is a little difficult to the technology, for example this, but I need to improve my knowledge about this. But I think the technology eat me or eat us about the good conversations.
That's it. All right. Thank you very much, Teresita. All right. So let's listen to Sergio. Please talk to us about your opinion.
In my opinion, I think the technology of the today is a good tool for communication, but people prefer write a text and don't speak with the other people. That's my opinion.
That's it. Thank you very much. You are so right. I totally agree with you. All right. So what about Oliver?
Okay. In my opinion, in my work, I'm physical education teacher, and the technologies, in this case, social networks, apps, or cell phones, iPads, etc., is a tool.
Sorry, Oliver.
Okay.
Teacher Maggie, I need to go out to my appointment with the doctor.
That's it, Teresita.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
It's a pleasure talk with you.
Pleasure to talk to you.
See
Have
you.
a very good night.
See you. Have a nice day.
Likewise.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night, Teresita.
Good night. Thank you.
All right, Oliver, I'm sorry we interrupted you.
Okay, no problem. And is ambiguous, or how do you say, two
Yeah, that's it.
two face the coin? because it's how do you say ventage or ventajas, desventajas in English?
Advantages and
Advantages and
Disadvantage.
disadvantages.
disadvantages, because it's very necessary. It's necessary dominate the technology or you the and in my opinion, with my work, I need to communicate. In this case, in this class, is very important and is very rich. And but in another time or another situation, I expensive the time and other thing. It's too bad that my time for my with my family, with myself, I don't know, my family in general. I'm this technology distract on me, me distrae, you know,
That's it.
and this is in my opinion.
All right, thank you very much. Pretty good. All right, Blanca, what's your opinion?
Okay. In my opinion, the technology is very interesting and I think helps another person to look for, the example, information and communicate with other people with other interests. I now people with other countries, for example, I know cultures, others language, for example, and very information. For example, in the school, the students helps for found information about team. They are can found information is with health with other subjects, biology, for example, math, English. I think it's the cell phone is correct, have advantage and disadvantage.
Yes,
For this
advantages.
very, very distraction for the students.
Yeah, you know what? I would like to conclude about technology. That technology is amazing. That's wonderful, and it has helped a lot, not only to improve communication and the access to some other countries and places and assignments, science, technology, everything, but well, it has helped also humankind to be present in many different places. Technology is wonderful. But
Yes.
here, the bad point, and I guess that we all can, is that we don't know how to use it and we don't know when to use it. Is if we pay attention that, all right, it's a tool for communication in some areas or for some emergencies. But of course, technology is not going to any other way substitute a good talk with a friend, drinking coffee together, or to play with our children and tell them that we love them. Of course, it is not going to be under substitution ever. And that's the problem, that we haven't learned how to use technology. And we are worshiping things instead of paying attention to people. Finally, I would like to talk about some other kinds of worshiping. For example, as I told you before, money. Some people can fight, can also be enemies with some family members or with some old friends because of money. And that's the sad part. We can also be aware of what the celebrity on fashion, the up-to-date celebrity said, where he or she was born, and we don't know the name of our parents or what is their occupation. You know what? I was working in a preparatory school, in a high school, and for me it was really surprising when I asked to my students, hey, what's your father's name? And some of them, of course, answered very quickly, but some others were hesitating. They said, his name, her name, and they didn't remember the name of their parents. And it was worse whenever I asked them for their occupations. And I said, all right, what's your father's occupation? Some students didn't know what was their parents' occupation. So it was really sad, really surprising for me. I couldn't, but yes, I think that that's the point that we should get out. Okay, could anybody, well, do anybody want to say anything else? Any comment? Please tell me.
Yes, I agree with all my classmates, and the conclusion is very important because the technology is very important tool for communication in the war and an emergency, but the note or the point is learn when you utilize it or not utilize the technology.
Yes,
Learn
that's it.
very well.
Yes, you're right.
And when I decide utilize the technology
to use
one purpose with the purpose.
That's it. I totally agree with you. Thank you very much, Oliver. All right, anybody else? Hello, don't be shy, don't sleep, don't go. All right, so you know what? I think that it is not only about technology, but also, for example, whenever we think that to have a brand, a fashion brand, clothes, item, or to play in a team, in a sport team, to belong to a social group is more important than being a good person. I think that it is another kind of worshiping. So, in my opinion, we shouldn't forget that we are humans and that we have value because we exist, not because how we look or what we wear, where we eat, or how is the place where we
go.
All right, well, any other opinion? Any other comment? No?
The opinion about the thing with the sport or money or
yes,
the arrow, the red arrow.
well, yes, it could be about it or any other point that you consider important.
Okay, about the fanatics and in the sport is very important. How do you say nowadays? Because the passion in the sport is my, I'm a physical education teacher and the sport, and my students don't look the difference to fun, to educate or learn about what is the purpose about the sport and the physical activity, you know, and fanatics is a problem, social problem in all the world because, for example, in England, to hooligans is an example. The hooligans, the violence, or no, in Mexico too. In football and soccer football with the fights and the public through the over the players, the vocabulary, etc. Is it's difficult. It's difficult too. No, my self-control about the passion and the not be fanatic in the sport.
I agree with you. I totally agree. Well, I thank you so much for your attention, for your attendance. It has been a real pleasure for me to have worked with you today, and I hope that you have a very, very good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Teacher.
Thank you,
Good
Miss.
night.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise, a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Good night, teacher.
Good night.